Okay everybody, so I'm back with the completed front and rear clip. So this is going to be the rear, all done, the shocks, all done. Same with the front, it's completely all put together, ready to go. Just need to move on to the next step, and that's going to be just getting what's left in here out. So really the only thing I got to take out, I need these two steering posts. I need to get inside the receiver box and get the receiver out, and I need to get the servo out. And the only other thing that I'm going to need off of this is going to be this center diff cover. So let me get started on getting this stuff out of here. So I got it sitting beside me, and we'll be on to getting the new chassis out and starting to get everything put onto the new chassis, which I still haven't quite decided how I'm gonna start with that. I think I'm gonna build all this stuff just like this on it and then install the front and rear when everything else is done. So let me get all this stuff out and set on the table, and I'll come right back and let you see what all is next. Okay guys, so that's everything that we're going to be needing off of this truck. I don't need this ESC. We got a different motor, different center diff. Guess I need this part too. So though this center diff is still good, I just don't need it, so it's staying in there along with the motor and electronics. You never know, this thing may get built back into something. So this is what we've kept out of it electronic wise. An EcoPower WP120T. I've had pretty good luck with these, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it. It's brand spanking new. I got it for this when I put this back together, so I'm gonna use that. An SR215 receiver. I mean, there's not like there's lights or anything on this. And then I just got the steering post in the center diff case. Now this is a V1, and that's why I need this stuff, because it's gonna go with the motor mount that I have from M2C. So let me get this put away and figure out where I'm gonna start and get started. We're gonna get ready and start putting stuff on the M2C chassis. Gonna get it out of the package. Pretty much what's left is some steering components, the Ackerman plate, which is gonna be BASHERQUEEN, and the locking servo saver kit from BASHERQUEEN. Also got BASHERQUEEN servo mount that we're gonna be installing. That's number BQNA320574, in case somebody would want one of these. This thing is beautiful machine quality. All the hardware is included, everything that you need, even little caps that look really cool the way they're machined. Also from BASHERQUEEN, I'm going to be installing the ESC tray. There's the part number. Thing's pretty nice quality. All the hardware again's included. A few more M2C parts to put on it. The motor mount which is part number. And then I got both the chassis support braces, 3047 and 3041 for the ARRMA 6S cars. So I got those all going on it too. So let me get some of the stuff out of the packaging and figure out where I'm gonna start at, and I'll start getting my first pieces on and bring you back so you can watch me doing that. Everybody loves them. Droop screws, but I won't be using these. I use some different ones that I like better. And this is where I decided to start. Okay guys, as you can imagine, this is top quality stuff. So this being a motor mount, this being the rear, this should bolt in perfectly right there. And this should be perfectly right here. So these are the screws they say to use on this puppy. Okay guys, so that's the M2C motor mount. So motor mounts in. So the only thing that's left is the screws. Look at my goofy cat. You see that? I swear. So what's left to get done is mount the actual motor mount to the motor and get it lined up and get it in. Then I can worry about the pinion later. So I'm going to go ahead and get this mounted up and get it in so I know where it's sitting and how it's sitting. So, because it's going to be pretty big hanging off of here. So let me get this mounted up and I'll come right back. Okay guys, there it is, mounted up. The 1650 kV rocket on the M2C motor mount. Now that is a 20 tooth pinion that's meshed up right where I like it on a 46 tooth spur. Now I may end up having to back this down to a 18 tooth. I don't know, I've never ran a 46 tooth spur gear, so I don't know what dropping that down so many teeth is going to do, but I'm going to give it a shot. So the next thing I'm going to do is get my steering post mounted up so I can get my bell crank and servo saver installed. So the BASHERQUEEN locking servo and the BASHERQUEEN Ackerman plate for it, and then it'll be on to the servo mount. So let me get everything that I need to start doing this and we'll get started. Okay guys, so got the steering posts on and I'm about to build the locking servo saver onto the bell crank. So first thing I'm going to do is get everything opened and get it ready that I can start building it. So let me get this open, get all this open, because this has got all new bearings, the locking servo part, a new spring, and then it looks like washers for the bearings. So let me get all this opened and spread out and get everything started built. Okay guys, I'm back. I got the servo saver bell crank with the carbon fiber Ackerman plate all installed. The only thing I really need left to do is to lock it down. I didn't want to do that quite yet because I'm not sure if that's exactly where I want it. I did leave it in a spot so I can get to it with everything on. I will have to move the side guard, but that's about it. So the next thing I want to do is get out the servo mount and make sure that my servo fits in it without bottoming out and getting all this mounted up. So let me get this open and whatever spacers I may need. She sent me out a pack of, looks like 3 different thicknesses or maybe yeah, 2 1.5 mil, 2 2.2, and 2 3 mil. So hopefully I can get away with just using 2 3 mil, because I do know my servo is a kind of a tall one. So let me get all this stuff opened and spread out, and we'll go from there. Okay guys, so I got it all tore apart or opened and all separated. So you get some long chrome screws with these long chrome caps, and they go together like this, I'm assuming, and these 4 are going to be what actually sets down inside your servo to hold it in spot. And it uses a lock nut that'll go underneath, so it's going to be best to build this and then install it onto the truck. And the posts, I see they go through and she give you these 4 of these chrome button head caps, which do look cool, but I've had the worst luck with these type of material. They're not 12.9 grade, so instead I'm going to use these way longer black button caps with a washer to go through, and I think that's going to help me make it a little more solid. So when it comes to these, they mount to the chassis with these little flat heads. So I'm going to go ahead and build this, get the servo mounted, and I'm sure that once I get it built, I'm going to need to make it a little higher with some of these shims. So let me get it built, see how it's got to go. Okay guys, I just wanted to bring you back after I got this all mounted up. I mean, this is one tough looking cookie. I love these little CNC'd caps that she made for the flathead screws. And I kind of like how it just nuts through. Them were the toughest locking nuts I've ever used in my life. I have no idea where Kimberly gets those locking nuts, but I sure would like to know because they are nice. So now all I gotta do is get this thing mounted onto the chassis, which should just be super easy for bolts, and that's gonna keep it pretty good up off the chassis. I'm pretty happy with it. So let me get this bolted back up and I'll come right back and let you see where that's at. And then what's gonna be left is mounting some plastic, the ESC tray, and then the diffs and the chassis braces. So we're almost there, guys. Okay guys, so there it is. We got the motor mount, the diff, we got the servo mount, bell crank servo saver all installed. I mean, realistically, she's almost there. There's not a whole bunch left to do. Next, I think I need to get the ESC mounted up, because I don't know what that tray is going to be like to do. So I'll bring you back once I figure out how to get the ESC tray mounted up, because it's got a bunch of little blocks it sits on. I'm going to have to bolt it through, and plus get the Max 6 bolted on it. So let me see if I can figure this out. Okay guys, so now I got the BASHERQUEEN ESC tray in and mounted, and the Max 6 mounted in. I also got the servo obviously mounted in, the motor mount, the center diffs in, and meshes set. Everything's all wired up, ready to put the battery tray and receiver box in. So I guess the next thing I'm going to do is get these center braces put in. So for the Outcast, we're looking at 30-47 for the front and 30-41 for the rear. So we're going to get these installed, and then we're going to get the battery tray in the receiver box. And once we get that stuff in, we'll be ready for the side pieces and the front and rear clip. And then we can mount the bumper, the wing mount, all that good stuff. So I'm going to pause it here, and next time you see it, it should have the battery tray in it and chassis braces. Okay guys, so I'm back, and I got the chassis braces in, and I got the battery tray and the receiver, the wires all into it. So if I get the opportunity, I always like to tape the wires down underneath the chassis brace. That way when the drive shafts run through, it doesn't have an issue. But so she's getting there. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get the front and rear clip bolted in, and that'll have the drive shafts all in and the steering linkage all hooked up. And then I'll bring you back, and then the only thing that's really going to need to be done is the plastic on the side and the mud guards. So next time you see this, it's gonna be really put together. So okay guys, so got the front and the rear clips now on, as you can see, and the front RPM bumper, just because it goes through that. Now I will have to take the rear bolts out when I put the RPM wing mount on, but that's okay, I can handle that. So all that's really left now is So all that's left now is to put the side guards on and the little mud guards up here, the hoop, the tower to tower, the wing mount in the wing, and then get the wheels on it and body mounts. Got to get the body mounts on. So I'm going to take this little bit of time now to get all that stuff buttoned up, and I'll come back and show you what she looks like. Hey guys, okay, so I got everything together. I gotta hook up the receiver, which is already bound to my DX5, and make sure the servo's good, centered. But that's it guys. So you got BASHERQUEEN carbon fiber tower, ESC tray, servo mount, front and rear towers. We got M2C chassis all the A, B, C, D block, the upper hinge block, M2C chassis braces. We got M2C shock caps. We got the RPM new wing mount with the integrated skid plate. We got the RPM bash bumper in the front. We have a Max 6 ESC with a 1650 kV rocket 20-tooth pinion with a 46-tooth spur with an aluminum diff case in the center with 500 in the center, 100 in the front and the rear. This thing should be an absolute animal. So all I gotta do is get the wheels put on it, and that's about it. So let me get the body put on it, and I'll let you see that real quick. And the next time you see it, she's gonna be all done, sitting on the wheels, ready to go for its first run. Okay guys, there it is with the body. My ELITE Lightened Basher. Now I do gotta take it when I get the wheels put on it. So tomorrow I do gotta take it and get it weighed with the tires on it and see how much it weighs. I do have a little clip that I'm gonna throw in here somewhere that's gonna show me weighing what was the blue bodied Notorious. It was like 11 pounds 2 ounces is what that weighed. So I don't know, this thing still feels pretty heavy. There's a lot of upgrades on it. Regardless if it's lightened a whole bunch or not, if it weighs the same, that's actually good, because I've put a ton of upgrades on it with the thicker 4mm 70-75 chassis and all those A, B, C, D suspension blocks. It definitely put some weight to it, but hopefully it balanced out putting the carbon fiber stuff on it. Plus I do have a big beefy wing mount and front bumper, but the point was to be an awesome basher and still light. So hopefully I got it. You guys, I appreciate you sticking with me through this build. I know it was long, but it was a lot of parts, man. I mean, that was a lot. In fact, let me get you what's left of what I took apart. So give me 1 second, I'll go get it. Okay guys, so just to put in perspective of how many new parts that I used. So here is what I've been running as my Outcast. I mean, obviously it has the Notorious body on it, but it was an Outcast to begin with, and I just happened to have this body laying around and used it. So, I mean, obviously the body's still not in too terrible shape, but, I mean, there's still a lot of this thing here. I mean, motor and center diff, and ESC and servo mount, top plate, all the A, B, C, and D blocks, the arms, and I got the upper arms here, and I got the hinges for them too. So I mean, it's just a matter of putting it back together. I did take the diffs back out of it because I just bought the diffs just to get this thing running, and it ran great, so we went through on the build. But I mean, it wouldn't take much to put this back together, so who knows what'll happen with this. We got some good electronics, brand new 6S Spectrum system. So, well, that wraps up the ELITE Lightened Basher build, guys. So I appreciate everything. The next video you see of it will be it running first little shakedown run, making sure everything's good. So hit the like button, hit the notification button, hit the subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Mike with RC4Us, and here's to another one.